What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
A tradition like no other.
The Masters.
This fall, only on Underground. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome into another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB, it's Dylan, it's Christian coming at you. We are back post Secret Invasion, and we are jumping back into the world of Ted Lasso to wrap up our Ted Lasso binge through that we started, I don't even know when. But we're on to season 3.
It's kind of hard to call it a binge at this point.
Fair. It was a binge for the break. It was a broken binge. But we're on to season 3. We're going to do the first 2 episodes of season 3. On this episode, we're going to talk about the Loki trailer, which at least something good is coming from Marvel.
I have hope that's a dangerous thing.
Cue the scene from Endgame with Hawkeye and just put Christian's face. Don't give me hope.
Don't give me hope, Loki. Not like this.
And then we'll get into all the latest news and notes across the streaming platform Multiverse. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN. That is on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and we are at StreamerSZN Pod on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Follow Dylan at Dylan Mazzola. Follow Christian at the Wiz_PHI. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find this show and our overall network. And Dylan, what should they be doing in the Apple Podcast review section? Say the line, my friend.
Or in the YouTube comment section. They should be leaving reviews, hopefully nice words. And in those reviews, they should also be leaving suggestions on what the three of us are to consume next, whether it be a movie or a TV show. I know I'm not going to say it because it would spoil it in case it happens, but Christian gave us an idea off camera, and we want ideas for you people to give us. So any streaming service, any show or movie, let us know, and we'll give it a go.
And like Dylan said, you can also leave it in the YouTube comment section, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Please subscribe. That's where you get full video episodes of this show, every show on our network. You get clips, live streams, original content, funny content. And if you don't subscribe, DJ is doomed. DJ is doomed because we have added on to the exact location in or around Alaska on the Get in the Hole podcast this week. Stephen McAvoy pointed out to me the furthest point that is still U.S. territory that is closest to Russia, and it looks just like New Asgard in the Thor movies. And that is where we will be dropping DJ into, like it's around a fortnight. If you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, we are at 520 subscribers as of this recording. Need to get to 1,000 within the next month and 2 days. Otherwise, DJ is absolutely doomed. And we need to get to 600 subscribers by the end of this month for sure. That is a full send company initiative, just like we did on the road to 500. Need to get to 600 before the end of August. We want to go out with a bang for the summer. So go subscribe, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. It's Ted Lasso season. The break is over. We just took our international break, effectively.
Yeah, true.
To use soccer terms, football terms, whatever it may be. Go subscribe to Top
Football?
Pins as well. Our Ted Lasso breakdown is brought to you by our friends over at PHI Apparel Company, our exclusive merch partners. They're doing an awesome sale for all the Eagles fans out there. All of their Eagles and football merch, including our Philly Dogs shirt that we have up on the website, which it's very funny that I am also on a full send mission to get our Philly Dogs shirt to all of the Georgia Bulldogs, Philadelphia Eagles players, because apparently they have a group chat now, and the group chat name is Philly Dogs. It's only right that the boys are wearing their merch from PHI Apparel Company this season and repping the group chat. And you can get your StreamerSZN merch as well. Stand out in the crowd when you're going to the movies, when you're hanging out at home, watching your favorite shows with your friends and family, if you're Netflix and chilling, whatever it may be. You're going to look incredible in your StreamerSZN merch. Go to phiapparel.co. Use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off whenever. But all of the football merch right now through August 7th, so effectively through the end of this week, is 20% off when you use code KG20 for Kelly Green 20 with the return of the Kelly Greens. So all of the football merch over at PHI Apparel Company, and I'm pretty sure any order, but specifically the football stuff, use code KG20, gear up. It's a little less expensive, too, than those jerseys that they were putting out. So you can gear up, be the best-looking person in the room with your merch from PHI Apparel Company. Shout out to them, our awesome merch partners. Ted Lasso, Season 3. Christian, I'll leave this up to you. The show has been out since March. Is there a need for the patented spoiler warning?
We can just do a quick short one. Oi, wanker! Make sure make sure you have watched this week's episode of Streamer. God damn it, I did it again. Make sure you
Still
have
getting
watched.
pirated.
Make sure you have watched the episodes of Ted Lasso we are talking about on this week's episode. Then come back and listen to us, wanker.
Those never get old. They never get old, and I am driven to have a end of year spoiler warning compilation on the YouTube channel.
I saw
Best of spoiler warnings.
That would be an adventure.
It's so funny. So overall, episode number 23 is the first episode of season 3. Smells Like Mean Spirit. Funny story about the song that title is from. Smells Like Teen Spirit. I saw Vic Mensa in 2015 at Made in America. He covered Smells Like Teen Spirit, did a very fine job of it. But when he was doing his breakdown and counting down into, the beginning of the song, he chucked his water bottle from the stage, hit me right in the jaw.
How hard of a water bottle was it?
It was very full.
Lovely.
Very full. Hit me. It knocked my phone right out of my hands. Somewhere I have a video where I was getting ready to record him covering this, and you just see my phone drop and water droplets on the screen and everything. And I was like, everyone was like, yo, are you good? I'm like, I'm great. I just got pelted by Vic Mensa in a water bottle. There's nothing more Philly.
The things Kyle does for content.
Hey, that was me doing content before doing content. Who would have thought? But here we go. Richmond is projected to finish in last place for the new Premier League season, while West Ham is expected to be in the top 4. The forecast demoralizes the team. To lift their spirits, Ted gives them a tour of London's sewer system. It's the Teenage Mutant AFC Richmond. To teach them a lesson about relying on one another amidst hardship. Photos of the team entering the sewer go viral, which was very funny watching this episode now as opposed to have watched it in March when it came out, because one of the lines that the construction worker says, "Oh, you got to get that on Twitter." I was like, well,
so much about that. well, they had a good run, guys.
Did you guys see the World Wildlife Foundation advertisement that they put out recently?
No, what?
So it is all the iterations of the Twitter bird logo from the inception of Twitter, and then 2023 is the X logo, and then underneath it says, "We need to protect our wildlife before it's too late."
That's
It's one of the
amazing.
best ads I've
That
ever
is
seen.
amazing. Oh my god.
Damn good there.
So Nate mocks the team and Ted during a press conference arranged by Rupert, saying that they're projected to finish in 20th because there's no 21st. But Ted responds during his own press conference with self-deprecating jokes that charm the reporters. "I'm so dumb. How dumb are you?" It was very wild and out skit.
I did like that too.
That was very funny. Especially coming from myself, who is regularly in press conferences. If I ever had a coach do that, I wouldn't know how to act. So I was very much in the vein of the reporters being like, what?
Yeah, excuse me. Like confused.
Pardon me, sir?
Like imagine if Tortorella did that.
Terrell just does other things, but yeah, that'd be wild.
Yeah, he would punch somebody after the press conference ended.
He's gonna go find Tony D and strangle him like Homer to Bart.
Roy and Keeley inform Phoebe that they are breaking up as Roy's increased coaching responsibilities and Keeley's busy job running her new PR firm give them little time together, but Keeley suggests there are deeper problems in their relationship. And over the phone, Ted's son Henry shows him a toy that his mother's friend Jake bought him, unsettling Ted. That toy being the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos, and Jake was ready to Thanos snap Ted away. Very on the nose of Ted Lasso in terms of emotion, in terms of humor, and still incorporating the baseline of, you know, the soccer stratosphere in this episode. I thought this was a very good way to kick off a season, all pun intended there.
Heyo.
How'd you guys feel about this episode?
I would agree. I thought it was a good starter episode. I think there really hasn't been that many Ted Lasso episodes, if any, that after I'm done watching, I like kind of contemplate why or what I watched. And I think you said it perfectly fine. Like, it does a good job at making you feel some things, both happy and sad. And it also, if you like soccer, it does loosely always try to tie into soccer. Some episodes more than others. And yeah.
Yeah, like it's Ted Lasso does a good job like starting the episodes for a season. I do think as we go through this season, we will kind of be like they're doing a little too much here, but that's for future pods.
I also think they did a really good job opening this episode in general with the phone and getting the text messages and it being in Ted's hand and it's from his ex-wife. They're intended for his son. You know, for a show that season 2 ended in October of 2021, season 3 comes back in March of 2023, you kind of put yourself in the mindset of like, holy shit, like the people waiting for this to come back, and then like that's how they open the season, and then they hit you right in the gut with like, oh, it's intended for his son and not him. Like you get that initial shock of like, oh my god, what did they put into this, you know, over the last year and a half or so to build up this season, and then it's like, oh, we got you. That's for old buddy right there, not for you, Ted. I thought that was a very good like tactic to open up the episode as well.
Yeah, it's a good shock and all. For a second, everyone watching is like, whoa. And then you're like, oh, never mind, that makes more sense. But yeah, it's also a good emotional like roller coaster.
So that brings us to our score for episode 1 of season 3. Smells Like Mean Spirit.
I would say it's probably like a 9 for me. I think Christian made a good point. There are a couple. I think there's 2 episodes in particular that I will not probably give that high of a score as we go on. So I'll start off strong.
I'm gonna start it at a generous like, and I say this is generous, whereas I'm probably gonna be the low man here, because I feel like this season reaches higher points, but it reaches lower points. And I feel like it's hard for an opening episode to like be like truly, truly great. especially when you're on the third season. So I'm gonna say start it at like 7.5.
All right.
I'm gonna kind of split you guys. I'm gonna give it an 8.1. I thought it was a very strong like opening to a season. Had a lot of good points, and this is something that Dylan and I have talked about a ton, and I think we've all three talked about it. One of the things Ted Lasso has done through 2 seasons of watching and now an opening of season 3, they know how to tell stories and have multiple storylines go on without it getting messy. And I appreciate that a lot about this show. And that just continued in this one. There were 4, maybe 5 different storylines happening in this episode alone, but it was not difficult to like follow along. And when they jumped back to them, it was like, oh, okay, cool, we're here. It wasn't like a mess to follow along with. So they continued that trend, which is a positive in my book.
They do add some more stuff later on. As you watch, you'll be able to digest. But yeah, no, I think it was still in the same format early on. It follows the easy to watch.
So 7.5 plus an 8.2 plus a 9 is all day 24.7. Divide that by 3. That's an 8.2 out of 10 for the first episode of season 3 of Ted Lasso.
Bang.
And then we move to episode 2, which is titled "I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea." Trent Krim begins visiting Richmond to write a book about the club, but Roy forbids the players from talking to him. Still bitter over a scathing article Trent wrote about Roy during his debut for Chelsea as a teenager, Roy eventually reconciles with Trent at Ted's urging. Keely struggles to lead her PR firm and hires her inexperienced model friend Shandy, frustrating her CFO Barbara. Zava, a renowned but arrogant footballer, is in high demand after leaving Juventus.
Zava, which I'm just gonna say this now. That is one of my favorite parts of the season. Solely because it is so clearly a parody of Zlatan. Like, it's not even funny, and it's just like, okay, you captured the like face value of him, and I'm just like, yep, okay.
Only thing missing was the man bun.
True.
So he was in high demand after leaving Juventus, and upon learning Rupert wants to sign him, Rebecca finds Zava in the bathroom during a Richmond match against Chelsea and harshly tells him that joining West Ham would surrender him to mediocrity. This inspires Zava to sign with Richmond, and Roy reminisces to Ted and Trent about his career with Chelsea, realizing he never allowed himself to enjoy the sport. Good episode, good follow-up episode, I think. Again, you introduce a new fun character to the mix for Richmond now.
I think it was a great episode. I think it touches on 2 things that's important in sports if you like sports at all. I think it touches on the media player aspect, how sometimes media completely shits on a player. And that's why, like you said, Roy didn't want to forget Trent, and then it happens all the time. And then also, secondly, how some players are worshipped, like Didi's, some more than other. And you see that with the parody of Ibrahimovic. And it's really interesting because, some of the things he says are obviously hilariously comical, but make no sense. And yet the players follow him like sheep. And also he has a very popular online presence. And that's no different. I'm not going to throw any athletes on blast, but I'm sure there's quite a few athletes that follow into that frame of like, yeah.
Please show your work and explain your answer, Dylan.
I'm just saying.
Tell us more.
I'm just saying. There's some people that get followed.
You're saying what? Huh?
There are people that just get followed blindly sometimes, Well, obviously the parody is Ibrahimovic, but there's a couple soccer players that fit that mold. There's a couple NFL players.
More. What specific soccer players?
Pains. I'll go to football. I don't know.
Say it.
Jalen Ramsey comes to mind as someone that gets a lot of hype.
No. Wrong football.
I digress.
say the R word. Do it, coward.
Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle. Now,
It
now
would
we
be really
have to-
funny if you said
yeah.
Roy Kent.
Now, okay. So
Now you clip it, and I get attacked by Ronaldo.
Yeah.
We have to. We now have to edit it. So
No,
we
you
know. We know.
Messi's better than Ronaldo. Ronaldo sucks. He's overrated, overhyped.
Say that one more time for
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah.
He is good.
All right, Kyle. We now have to edit this all together to get the TikTok engagement.
I gave you enough breadcrumbs. I'm gonna get bullied now.
You gave us a 7-course meal, my brother.
Yeah.
We are hashtag Messi stands.
Poor Jalen Ramsey. He caused Stray my diversion.
You used the wrong R word.
He doesn't deserve. Yeah.
Anyway, back on topic.
Speaking of Lizzo, anyway.
Though about that.
Yeah, I think this episode was really well done, and it was a good follow-up episode because I think a lot of shows too, ones that we've watched recently, and just shows in general, like they'll have a strong opening episode for a season and then kind of fall flat in the second episode. So I think this was a very strong follow-up episode for season 3 of Ted Lasso.
Agreed. I'd probably literally give it the same score as my previous score. It's also hard. I haven't watched this in a while, so like
Yeah, same.
get further on, I'll probably have more accurate, memories and ratings. But I would say 9. I do feel like now that we talked about it, I do feel like I enjoyed this one more than the first episode. But because I gave the first one so high, I'm just gonna copy the score and kind of call it even.
I'm gonna go for a 7-9 on this one.
I'm gonna
Just
give
like
this one. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Damn, we're making Kyle actually do math today.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
It's an 8.4. A whole bunch of 6s ended by a 7, so that rounds up in our book to an 8.5 out of 10 for episode 2 of season 3 of Ted Lasso. We'll be breaking down the rest of season 3. There are how many episodes this season? 12 episodes. So next week we'll have a bigger bulk because we won't be as frantically running around like we are this week to squeeze things in for the episode. But we'll have more Ted Lasso season 3 breakdowns. And like Dylan always says, this is a show that everything is out. So once we get through it, we're going to need more. So be sure in the YouTube comment section, leave your show and movie recommendations. You can also DM them to us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want us to watch. DM us. Our DMs are open, so you can also do that way as well. And we'll account for them, and we'll put that poll out this week as well for you guys to vote on potential show for us to watch. But moving right along, back to the Marvel Multiverse. We got a Loki trailer, and by design, I'm pretty sure they did this on purpose because of the amount of backlash Secret Invasion got. They were like, okay, let's ease the pain and put out everybody's fan favorite and put out the Loki trailer.
Yeah, but did it really ease the pain or just foster more hope to ultimately feel more pain?
I'm gonna split the difference and say both.
It was the blinders. It was like everybody angry mob from The Simpsons, blinders? And then it was like, hey everybody, here's Loki with a nice little Miss Minutes clock just right in your faces, and everybody was like, ooh, shiny.
No, like we are talking about like a 15-foot tall Miss Minutes.
That looks like a ghost. Our Loki trailer.
Oh no, he's a ghost.
It's going to be brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game, who now have an app available for you.
Ooh.
Go to Tomahawk Shades, search it in the App Store, Google Play, download the app, and just for downloading the app, you can claim a free pair of sunglasses. It's a beautiful thing. Who doesn't love free? You can also use the app to peruse the website for both sunglasses, blue light glasses, and something Dylan can take advantage of, prescription lenses.
Hey,
It's something Dylan has called for since we got on board with Tomahawk Shades, and they've been doing it, and I've heard nothing but good things from everybody who use prescription lenses with their Tomahawk Shades, so you can get your own. Go to tomahawkshades.com or download the app in the App Store, Google Play, and when you go to checkout, use our code USP for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. That's USP at checkout for 25% off at tomahawkshades.com. Loki trailer has dropped October 6th, which Christian pointed out to me. Don't even know how I didn't.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. So
I have no clue
Friday
when these guys are dropping.
Is Friday the new Wednesday?
More like Friday, am I right? Wow.
Because when Loki season 1 dropped, they said Wednesdays are the new Fridays. So now are Fridays the new Wednesdays?
All I know is we may be recording everything but the Loki recap during the week, and we may just convene on Saturday nights or something, and just be like, all right, let's spend 30 minutes talking about Loki and jam it in the middle of a pod.
When that gets closer, we will let everybody know, and just once we find out that every episode is dropping on a Friday too, we'll make sure, because I remember. What was it, Dylan? What If? They dropped like 2 episodes on a random day, and then it went back to a normal schedule. It was very odd.
I thought WandaVision did that too. Maybe I'm mistaken.
WandaVision was part of the original like Fridays.
Okay, gotcha.
And then so was Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then Loki was like, haha, Wednesdays are the new Fridays. And I think that was because it was crossing over with a Star Wars show or something at the time, maybe. So who knows? I know Ahsoka runs into September, I think, when I sent you the Ahsoka schedule breakdown from our pals over at Culture Crave. I think it runs to like the end of September, maybe that first week of October. So that might be why Loki's dropping on a Friday. I'm going to double check that right now. That is definitely why. The finale of Ahsoka is on October 4th. So they don't want the premiere of Loki and the finale of Ahsoka overlapping. So Loki is definitely just at least premiering on a Friday. I don't know if it will stick on Friday. I would love if it did. But that's definitely why, because Ahsoka's finale is on Wednesday, October 4th.
Good enough.
Loki trailer, though, very, very fun. A lot of things that I took away from it are positives in terms of just the whole multiverse concept as a whole. The time slipping thing, I love that. That is straight out of Spider-Man.
So I was gonna say someone called it real life Spider-Verse glitch.
Yep, that's exactly what it is, and to me, that's like just more of a bridge to Spider-Man Miles Morales coming into live action, because that was the first thing my brain thought of was multiverse glitching. They're calling it time slipping in the MCU, and it adds to that theory that I think I've talked to you guys about, that MT Mastertainment on the tweet machine. Go check him out. Subscribe to his new YouTube channel as well. He brought up the theory that the universe that Loki got transported to at the end of season 1 was the Fox X-Men universe, because Mobius is supposed to be this all-knowing Loki savant expert. Like, he's supposed to know everything about Loki, and the Mobius that Loki goes to talk to has no idea who he is, and that's because there's no Loki in the Fox X-Men universe.
I do feel like that's an interesting theory, and I think that will be kind of played out by the end of the end of the show. I also think there's a question of, are we sure Majors is the villain in this one?
That's the interesting thing to take away from this trailer as well.
It's always been Miss Minutes.
Jonathan Majors was in this trailer
for like one scene, which is kind of a scene we already saw.
We already saw as a post-credit scene. But there was a little bit more into it, where you see more of the lightning striking and all that kind of stuff on that machine. So that is interesting. I know, for the most part, from what I've read into, most of, if not all of Loki season 2 was filmed before Jonathan Majors' legal issues came to be. So that, coupled with everything going on with the strike, which I also have to mention to everybody, we are just like independent journalists in this instance where we're talking about this. Is not paid promotion to talk about Loki. We're with the writers, we're with the actors, pay them a fair wage. We're going to be critical because we can be. We're not
I'm
being
going
paid
to be
talk
extremely
about this.
critical.
I'm going to say something about one
yes.
guy on that.
But speaking of the start of the trailer, I got 3 words for you: Ki Hui Kwan.
Love his character.
Just that one scene alone, like, please have him be in this show so much because he looks so funny.
He said,
Can
you fix it? No.
He knows how to deliver comedy so well. And it's just like, please have him not just being like one scene and then go away.
Is it bad that this show? Well, I'm sure you guys are going to say yes. This show looks more espionage-esque than Secret Invasion.
Yeah, you really want to bonk us over the head with that one, huh? Yeah, I guess.
See, I don't necessarily think it looks more espionage as much as I think it's more like through and through like detective-y.
Yeah. And it just looks more, like, at least from the trailer. Because even looking back at the Secret Invasion trailers compared to this one, like, this trailer seems more, like, put together properly.
But I would also say, when you take into account the people who are making this show, and some of the other stuff they have done, and I would mainly like to highlight the fact that the showrunner is Michael Waldron, and
he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
But Michael Waldron wrote the script for Doctor Strange, which like, even though that movie went through 2 directors and stuff, Raimi did a good job making that a very Raimi film. And so I'm kind of just like, okay, I know he's not directly writing any of the stuff, but he's still the showrunner.
Michael Waldron also comes from Rick and Morty. Like, that's where he got his claim to fame. So, like, in terms of, he was also part of Loki season 1, and I'm pretty sure he worked on WandaVision. I trust him with this property.
My only slight concern here is that for Loki season 1, we had one director all the way through.
Who was that again?
Kate Herron, who had done a bunch of short films and had done multiple episodes of Sex Education, which was a very popular show. And so here we're getting Benson and Moorhead, which these two pull up their specific credentials. So part of the thing that gives me hope here is that they made a VHS film. Which, so those people who don't know what VHS is, it's like this found footage horror anthology series that kind of has a cult following. So, given that, and seeing that they got someone who was involved in one of those things, it has me thinking, okay, this could function well. And so, I'm fingers crossed that this lands because, and they directed 2 episodes of Moon Knight.
2 of the best episodes of Moon Knight. I was about to bring that up to Dylan. They directed the Summon the Suit episode, which was episode 2, and The Tomb, which was episode 4, which I think you and I, Dylan, both agreed those were 2 of the best episodes of the entire season.
Which speaking of The Tomb, I feel like we should talk about how, unless I'm misremembering the trailer, there's a moment where Loki's in a tomb and he touches a wall, and it goes from like ancient hieroglyphic stuff to full on Blue Kang.
You think he's gonna meet Moon Knight?
Not necessarily. I just think it's more. It's continuing to highlight whatever the Pharaoh King character name is.
Oh, Ramatut.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's at the 50-second mark. I don't think it's quite. It's not quite Egyptian, but if you look at the 50-second mark,
yeah, it's a depiction of the animatronic whatchamacallits that we saw in season 1. That the timekeepers. That it turns out they were just from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I'm curious though, like where that is, like if that's in the TVA or something, because I feel like specifically in relation to the type of stuff we got in the episode The Tomb, that I feel like if they are the ones just directing the whole series, we could get some more Easter eggy stuff thrown in there that would be interesting.
Yeah, because in that specific time clip that Christian's talking about, just for the people listening, there is the severed, chopped off animatronic head from season 1 in that same room that Loki like stabs his dagger into the wall, and then once it opens up, it's just Kang's face. So I don't know where that's also taking them to. Some other interesting aspects, it seems like I saw Eric Voss talk about this on New Rockstars. He has a theory that the TVA is modeled after the Chicago World Fair, because that is like a mainstay of this season, where we get our first look at an older variant of Kang and Victor Timely, who's the version of Jonathan Majors that shows up in this trailer that we also got as the post-credit scene in Quantumania.
Ant-Man 3.
And it's almost like they built the TVA around the World's Fair and turned it into what it is now, which is an interesting kind of take that I'd love to do some more just like deep diving into.
Up and to the left, up and to the left, up and to the left. I hope people got that reference.
The other thing that was interesting to me is they, at least in the trailer, they go back to He Who Remains like room that they were in where Sylvie stabbed him, and it's a lot more opened up now, and it kind of looks eerily similar to the mansion that the Doctor Stranges were in Multiverse of Madness, just with a more like purpley ancestral plane looking sky from Black Panther. And then they're also in spacesuits that Ke Huy Quan puts duct tape over Mobius, which is hilarious.
Again, Ke Huy Quan comedy. One other thing I do want to touch on is, and it's inconsequential in the grand scale of things, but Sylvie's hair threw me for a loop.
Yes, I did not recognize her at first.
Neither did I. I actually, when my brother sent me the trailer, I was like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "It's the same person from season 1."
She says bangs,
and I'm like, "Oh, you're right. I just didn't expect that."
One other thing I would like to point out is during the pie scene, it seems very clearly modeled after something called the automat, which is this old like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s place. And so I find that interesting, and if people want to learn more about it, there's a short little documentary that has a bunch of people on it, including Mel Brooks, on Max right now. It's called The Automat.
The other thing that I'm taking away from this trailer, it seems like Loki and Sylvie are going to be using more of their cosmic type of powers, more so than like their mischief type of powers, and their wits. It seems like they're going to actually be tapping into like, the sorcery side of things, the magic side of the MCU, which I'm intrigued about. I like that aspect a lot, because that can fold Loki into a bunch of different categories across the MCU, for him popping up in just different properties. We also seem to be getting a ton of Renslayer just in different variants in this trailer, which is also very intriguing because the last time we saw her, she was walking through one of those portals to go find her mans, aka Kang, because that's who her mans is in the comics. We also learned that Miss Minutes is an actual entity. She's not just like AI. She's not just like a figment of your imagination, because she's popping up and kicking things over and running people out of the World's Fair in a very scary, lifelike kaiju ghost costume Miss Minutes version that we have.
Kaiju ghost.
That's interesting to me because, Dylan, when you and I broke down Loki all the way back in 2021, which is insane that was 2 years ago,
Yeah.
we didn't really know what Miss Minutes was. Was she a Kang variant? Was she just, a thing of the TVA? Can she exist outside of the TVA? Very clearly, back in the day at the Chicago World's Fair, a version of Miss Minutes existed in the real world.
Yeah, and like you said, we kind of called that. We knew she was going to be a bigger part. We just didn't know why or how. She's just kind of eerily there in season 1, and it's a little unsettling. You're like, why is Tara Strong being this creepy clock that just always...
Especially in He Who Remains Castle, when she pops up and has like those crackhead eyes.
Exactly. So it's just like, what the hell's going on? And then, once again, it comes back in season 2. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I just really hope this show sticks. I think season 1 was such a success, and it's one of
best Marvel show.
I was gonna say I consider it mine best as well. I think Kyle and I had the conversation. I placed it above the other two that I like. So I can't blank on the names.
WandaVision and Moon Knight.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely the best, and I just hope it carries over.
I also saw, the scene. I think it is about 1 minute and 58 seconds into the trailer. It's Renslayer. It looks like she's in the void because she's got like that purple lighting on her. I saw, I think Eric Voss and I think either Heavy Spoilers or somebody else said, could Renslayer be the first person to have gotten pruned to the void? And that's why like there's a whole story to build up behind her and Kang's relationship, and like things went bad, and that's why he pruned her. There's a lot to like break down in this trailer. Eric Voss did a very good like breakdown of it. Heavy Spoilers did a great breakdown of it as well. They go really in depth. The car crashing through the TVA was crazy. And then you see that TV screen that says like, thank you for your service or something like that. And then it looks like it's like Mr. Fantasticing and turning into spaghetti almost. And then we get the typical Loki fight scene with the TVA agents, and he blasts them with his powers, and then he walks off screen with a nice little transition into the Loki letters switching all around.
Yeah, dude.
It's gonna be interesting to kind of take in, and then Loki has like that stopwatch thing almost that's cut in half, and it's red and green on two sides. Somebody said that could be a detector to determine whether or not Loki's close to time slipping again or not.
That makes sense, because they can't fix it, but they could at least maybe give him a device that allows him to know when he's about to glitch out.
And you know who has those devices? The Spider-Verse.
God, don't make me think about that.
I love breaking your brain.
What? Now you're making me think we're gonna somehow get them involved in Secret Wars, and my head's just gonna hurt.
Oh, they are 100% getting involved
Well,
in Secret Wars.
Yeah, but like animated Miguel O'Hara fighting.
Oh, 100% that's happening.
It just hurts my head to process visually.
Someone get this manic hooky.
Unless we're just going to duplicate Oscar Isaac in a million different ways.
I mean, 1, 2.
Do they bring in
Can we-
Oscar Isaac Apocalypse?
Yeah, exactly 3. Christ.
They're bringing Moon Knight Oscar Isaacs versus Poe Dameron Oscar
Poe
Isaacs.
Dameron comes in. Star Wars is now canon.
versus Magellan.
Star Wars. I mean, technically, Star Wars is canon because Peter Parker has Star Wars Legos.
Disney shill Oscar Isaac. Christ.
Yeah, this is one of the better trailers of any Marvel property we've gotten recently.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say.
a trailer. It's a show that we all exclaim to like. It's just a matter of Christian's initial thought or sentence on this segment. Like, do we get excited or do we kind of temper our expectations and just wait for it to come out and so we don't get hurt again from Marvel?
And I think the other interesting part about this comes out, or at least premieres before the Marvels comes out.
That's interesting.
Taking that into account is also
Well, we'll talk about the Marvels in news and notes, but I'm on cloud 9.
that's a change of events.
No.
Oh no, my brain just hit. I know why.
Yeah, exactly, Kyle. You know why.
I'm just looking at the calendar here. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Something he said.
Okay.
I'm surprised
So
I'm not confused.
if Loki is 6 episodes and in that cookie cutter mold, the finale of Loki, if it sticks to the Friday schedule, will also premiere on the day that the Marvels hits theaters. Which we've had those crossovers before.
And he just grunted. This is random.
I think the biggest
I'm
tinfoil
thinking.
hat one was when Hawkeye dropped and Spider-Man No Way Home dropped in between 5 and 6, I think, or 4 and 5, and then we see the New York City Christmasified, and then at the end of No Way Home, Peter Parker's web slinging and everybody's in the Hawkeye finale trying to find Peter Parker. Never happened. But I think that's the closest we've gotten to show and movie overlap recently with Marvel.
So I will say one kind of easy thing they could do is they just have it on Thursdays.
Oh, I fucking wish. I miss when Star Wars used to come out on Thursdays on Disney Plus.
Good.
What day of the week is Ahsoka?
Wednesdays.
Okay.
Yep. Shout out to Loki for messing that up for us. That's the one wrong thing Loki did.
He messed up the timeline and caused that to happen.
You dirty rat. Any other takes on the Loki trailer before we head to news and notes?
I just hope
Something.
it's good.
I got nothing.
Just hope
What
it's
were you
good.
saying, Neil?
I just hope it's good. That's all I want.
Let us know how you guys feel about the Loki trailer in the YouTube comment section. Tweet at us, DM us on Instagram, and we'll put out the best ones. But let's get to everybody's favorite segment. Is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our pals, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia, Kenwood Beer.
Bang bang.
They are the best in the game with their new gold tops, and they are now available for the Yinzers in the Pittsburgh area. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area or the Pittsburgh area. You can also get it at your local Philadelphia area liquor store. Go to kenwoodbeer.com. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly.
One day you'll say available in New Jersey.
One day. Ever so close.
One more day.
Christian, I'll let you take the floor on why you're over the moon.
Because the Marvels ain't getting any fucking IMAX screens because Dune, baby! It was, so for those who don't know, it was revealed in the IMAX earnings call that they are fully committed to Dune for 5 to 6 weeks of IMAX showings. Dune's currently set for first weekend of November. The Marvels is set for the second weekend. But why? But why would they have? But why would Disney have no commitment for that? It's because they moved the Marvels, and Dune was already set on that date beforehand. So in other words, we are not getting a Marvel film taking up IMAX screens from a movie that you should be seeing in IMAX. Now, the Marvels will still probably be in Dolby, but IMAX for the win.
I do applaud that as well. I do think, as much as I like Marvel, I just think it's simple in terms of like, if you have a product that's meant to be seen or utilized this way, then I kind of respect the entity being IMAX saying like, hey, this film is meant to be enjoyed and digested on a bigger, crisper screen.
I will say this though, that could fuck the Marvel's box office immensely.
Well, it won't hurt. I mean, I'll bring this goes into the next thing. Someone you can fact check me, but the Haunted Mansion one that just did piss poor, right?
Well, I saw a great tweet about that.
Who needed this movie?
First and foremost, yes. Secondly, they fumbled the bag releasing The Haunted Mansion
In August.
in August.
Yeah, you couldn't have
It is a Halloween theme. Release it in October, you bozos.
That's true. It's just,
I'm not sure.
But again, when we caught news of that movie coming out, we all said, who asked for this? Who needs this? But again,
no one.
You fumbled the bag by making that a summer release for a spooky themed entity.
and on top of who needs it, when I think it was Christian that said like, how much do you think this costs? And I was naive and was like, 50 million. He was like, no, it's over 100. And I'm like, why? Like,
Now, movies that are properly in October include the new Exorcist film, which stars Leslie Odom Jr. in it.
I want to be in the room where it happened.
I want to be in the room where the exorcism happens.
he does have
Leslie Odom Jr., Philly guy.
Yeah. And then, for those who aren't aware, and I don't know if we talked about this last week, Five Nights at Freddy's on the Friday before Halloween, which notably, and again, we probably talked about this last week, but I'm like, what we talk about in news and notes just escapes my brain from week to week. It's PG-13, boys. That's big. That's big box office.
And wow, all those Halloween spooky ass movies, Christian, happen to fall in October. Who would have thought?
Huh.
What a concept.
What a concept. I know.
Not Disney, they're taking L's.
I think the biggest news that we'll talk about here this week, at least, representatives for the studios and streamers have reportedly expressed a desire to restart negotiations with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. That came out on July 31st, and we also got a follow-up to that where, I want to pull it up here, the studios will sit down with the WGA on Friday, this coming Friday, which is the 4th of August, to try and put an end to the writer's strike.
Which
That
I'm
comes
gonna
via
say this.
deadline.
Which I'm gonna say this. It's not gonna happen. But also, I have a theory that they're going with the writers first because they're gonna quickly run out of TV shows. and they need to get the late night shows back going. They need to get their big shows for next year back in production.
They need those fall SNL numbers.
So yeah, they theoretically have more incentive with the writers, even though who are you going to have as SNL guests if you can't have the actors?
It's like either way you split it, it's like you get the writers and you get the projects rolling in terms of being established, but then what you said, who's going to play in said products?
I don't know if I believe this.
Because never mind.
I don't know if
But-
I believe if this is true or not, because as soon as I saw this, I went on just a deep dive of watching his highlights. We've talked about this a little bit on this show.
We're going with this.
Cillian Murphy says the viral baseball image of Tyler Glasnow is AI generated. Quote, many people sent it to me. I need to turn off more notifications. Culture Crave, our homies, tweeted a side-by-side. The second one does not look like Tyler Glasnow. The Cillian Murphy look-alike of Tyler Glasnow looks like Tyler Glasnow. The other one looks like a MLB The Show creative player. And the more and more I have to look at this, the more and more my brain hurts. But I'm still fully convinced that Tyler Glasnow and Cillian Murphy are doppelgangers.
Cillian Murphy is a great example of someone who I recently learned has zero online presence. I'm fully. I probably agree if he heard this, which he wouldn't because he doesn't use anything.
It's very healthy.
Yeah, I'm saying he literally has been quoted saying he only cares about the acting. He doesn't like the fame aspect. I mean, he's and his if you watch interviews of him, he didn't know what OMG meant. He didn't the memes. He learned what those were in the last 4 years.
Him and Michael Cera.
Yeah, they are.
Michael Cera, and Nick Castellanos.
In other strike news, these major stars have each donated $1 million to the SAG-AFTRA Relief Fund. Oprah, Meryl Streep, Julia Roberts, Nicole Kidman, Leo, Matt Damon, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
That's dope.
Wow.
Speaking of Nick Castellanos and crossovers to our beloved childhood television shows,
Scooby-Doo?
Apparently there's a Mystery Inkmobile in Florida right now where the Phillies are playing, and Nick took a picture in front of it.
Amazing. So that people say Philly's a bad place to play, but the thing with the Phillies, if you own up to it, but also if you lean into the bit, we will love you for it.
Yep.
And so him just fully leaning into the Scooby-Doo bit over the past month is just wonderful.
He's a dog, and he talks. That is one of the best interviews of all time. Did you guys see the first look at Aggro Drift and the Eye is a One, starring the one and only Travis Scott? It's an A24 action film that was directed by Harmony Korine and shot entirely in infrared.
Are we actually getting this coming out? Or am I confusing this with the rumored Weekend movie that I don't know if we're ever going to get? Because
let's see. So somebody followed up and said, last thing I heard was that A24 denies any involvement with Travis Scott's movie, which is unusual, to say the least. And then the follow-up is, think you're mixing this up with Circus Maximus film he dropped with Utopia. So it seems like we are getting this, apparently.
There's I forget where I saw it, but there was some rumored film where it's it was either involving Travis Scott or The Weeknd and A24 that we don't know if we're ever going to actually see, because the artist is not signing off on it going out or something. I don't remember. It was a weird thing where I'm why'd he even do it?
Somebody quote tweeted the tweet though and said, "Headache the movie."
Yeah. I don't know if this is a bait tweet. I don't know. I have to click on this. NASA's launching their own streaming service later this year for free, and I'm just what's going to be on
Plus.
this?
Apparently, it's going to have tutorials and informative learning videos, and they'll have live streams and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's where the next iteration of the Mars rover is going to be. Is that how we find out where the real Cosmo the space dog is?
Oh, okay. Oh, no. So now I remember something funny. I wanted to share with you guys. Someone posted an image of Gaia saying saying she is now the most powerful person, and then someone commented with a picture of Cosmo, and I was like, "That's fun."
Cosmo's not a person. Cosmo's a space dog.
But more importantly, we got the streaming release dates for the big awards slate of Netflix. Pain Hustlers, October 27th. Naiad, November 3rd. Dylan, get ready to mark this one down.
Okay.
The Killer, November 10th. Michael Fassbender, David Fincher,
You had me at Michael Fassbender.
November 10th. November 17th, Rustin, starring Coleman Domingo, starring Coleman Domingo, who's also going to be in The Color Purple.
I love me at Michael Fassbender.
December 1st, December, which is a film by Todd Haynes, which is going to be a screenplay contender probably. And then December 20th, the big one, Kyle, we may need to get your theater boss onto the PAL. It's Maestro. It's the Bradley Cooper, Leonard Bernstein biopic.
I dig it. I don't know if you guys saw this. I just stumbled upon this. Speaking of Cillian Murphy earlier, he was asked about playing Dylan's white whale character in the MCU. One Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom, who Howard Stern is apparently involved in that project. Remember that leaked audio. Quote, "It's always about the script. You never know."
I don't dislike it. I like him as an actor. I think he's talented enough. I do think they're gonna go with maybe I don't know. I wouldn't be mad. I'm just interesting.
In Netflix being bad news, they are going to remove Power of the Dog from multiple international versions of Netflix.
I had to Google why that was being removed. I forgot what the movie was about, and then once I Googled, I was mad with everything.
It's a movie that won Best Director, and they're taking it off probably because they are doing the Zaslav thing of, we don't want to pay these people. Other things, Stephen Amell being an absolute twat and saying he doesn't like the strike.
Dude, he's always trying to get attention, this guy.
What a loser.
Which
tell me you're a scab without being a scab.
Which my favorite image that people responded to that with was a Barry Allen over Oliver Queen's grave doing the thing. And I'm like, yep. Sounds like Stephen Amell's career.
Which it was also discovered in 2021. Stephen Amell tweeted, "The people who repurposed this picture, can you please stop?"
Too fucking bad, mate.
Donald and Stephen Glover will reportedly write the Lando series.
Cheers.
Dylan, your thoughts?
Let Donald Glover be charismatic. That's my thoughts.
Them book.
According to this comes from Entertainment Weekly. This is about the Acolyte, which Dylan is very excited about Star Wars wise. If you love that fight sequence with Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul, you're going to enjoy this show.
Good, because they finally are doing what I've been saying. Like Star Wars is so boring for the sense where let's get a show with more bad guy. Let's see their point of view. Let's just not the whole I'm a Jedi. My last name ends in Walker. I like sand. I'm tired of that shit.
So you're telling me Taiwan is a Jedi?
So we got a teaser for a Spy Kids reboot that I'm like, why?
Stop it. Get some help.
Why?
Stop it.
Get some help. But I think we need to touch on the sad news that came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Euphoria star Angus Cloud passed away at age 25.
Yeah. Came out that his dad had passed away like within the past week as well, and they just buried him in Ireland with all of the funeral processions and everything, and it was taking a toll on him, and it was very hard for him to cope with and handle. It sucks. I know a lot of people enjoy Euphoria, enjoyed his character in Euphoria, and 25 is just so fucking young too. It's
Very young.
a shame. So we send our best to his family and friends and everybody at Euphoria. You know, his fellow actors on the show. I'm sure they're dealing with it harder than anybody. So it sucks to lose somebody, you know, that young.
One other piece of news I want to touch on is we finally got a date for the Bike Riders, which you guys likely have no clue what this film is.
Nope, not at all.
But it's a film directed by Jeff Nichols.
I thought you were gonna say Jeff Goldblum, and I was gonna be like, what?
It's about a fictional Midwestern motorcycle club and how over the course of a decade it evolves it evolves from a gathering place for local outsiders into a more sinister gang. And let me just read off this cast to you because you're immediately going to be in. And so I will say first, it got dated for December. Tom Hardy, Austin Butler,
I'm in.
You had me, Tom Hardy.
Same.
Jodie Comer, Michael Shannon, Boyd Holbrook, Norman Reedus, Mike Feist.
You had me at Tom Hardy.
Exactly. Speaking of which, do we have a date on crap? What's the Tom Hardy film I'm thinking of called that's coming to Netflix? Is it Savage? Is what it's called? Because I don't. Yeah, sorry, Havoc. Do we have a date for Havoc yet?
I didn't think I saw anything, but
No, we don't. We don't have a date for Havoc, and this was a thing that stopped filming in October 2021.
Yeah, and the trailer was put out in April of 2023.
It's been a while.
Huh? A trailer for Havoc?
It might be fan made. I don't know. I typed in Havoc trailer.
No, Havoc. Where's me? No, that ain't Havoc.
That ain't
That's cutting together footage from like the movie where he plays identical brothers and stuff.
Oh, Venom.
No, funny, but Havoc.
Process. What was that?
Yeah. Havoc is by the director of the Raid films. For people who know anything about action filmmaking, it is one of the most psychotic set piece based franchises of action ever. After a drug deal goes awry, a detective must fight his way through a criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son while untangling his city's dark web of conspiracy and corruption.
I'm down.
Sounds good?
Sounds good to me.
Have you guys seen the Japanese Twitter stuff with Barbenheimer?
Yeah. And
right, that.
do jokes of us.
Whoops!
With a quote saying, "What you are doing is the same thing as this." And my God, these memes are. One of my friends said, "The shame of all of this is I know Japan has more in their bag. Step it up."
Yo.
The Last of Us knockoff, The Last Hope, has been removed from the Nintendo eShop. Reportedly, Sony had shut it down. It looked so bad. I don't know how I feel about this. The only positive is that it's James Gunn. Gal Gadot says Wonder Woman 3 is in development now for James Gunn's DCU.
Okay.
I mean, I trust James Gunn enough to be.
Yeah, I I was having this discussion with a friend, especially with how much we hated how Secret Invasion went, and I was just like, if this Superman movie hits, Marvel's in the shitter.
Yeah,
Because
you're about to see people switch up. You're not going to see Spider-Man shirts anymore. Captain America, you're going to see a bunch of Superman and DC heroes like more often. Christian's right.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. I mean, in terms of like, there can only be so many franchises that rule supreme in terms of like publicity and like box office, pop culture as well. And I feel like, if that shift happens, that makes sense. And Marvel's already on a down. Marvel/Disney, in terms of Disney's like content, not their toys or rides, but like they're kind of on kind of going down, kind of dropping like Oppenheimer, But Oppenheimer.
Jesus Christ. Disney confirms Secret Invasion takes place after Guardians 3. For all you timeline watching junkies.
I got nothing.
And then this just came through literally 3 minutes ago from our friends at Culture Crave. Disney reportedly scanned all the WandaVision background actors' faces and bodies to create digital replicas. The actors didn't give permission, were not paid, or known when the replicas were being used. Quote, have your hands out, have your hands in, look this way, look that way, let us see your scared face, let us see your surprised face. What if I don't want to be on Mario Vision or Sarah Vision? I fear that AI is eventually going to weed out background actors. They won't have any use for us anymore. That comes from NPR.
I will be clear with something here. True artists will always have need for background actors. It's these mega corporations who want to skimp who will try and cut out the background artists. The background artists, but the true filmmakers will never skimp on them.
Valid. I think that's a solid point to end on for this week's edition of StreamerSZN. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and at StreamerSZNPod on TikTok. Follow Dylan on Twitter at Dylan Mazzola. Follow Christian at @thewiz_PHI. And you can follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Dylan, say that sweet, sweet line, my good friend.
The line is that in any of those reviews, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube comment section, you're to let us know what we are to watch next via movie or any service, TV show, you name it, and we'll try to watch it.
You can also do that in the YouTube comment section, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Be sure to subscribe. We're at 520 subscribers as of this recording. It's not looking so hot for our pal DJ. He might be ending up in the real-life New Asgard, right on the outskirts of Alaska if you don't subscribe. YouTube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. You get to watch this show every single week and see our ridiculous faces we make throughout every single episode. And Christian gets to give his sweet, sweet spoiler warnings in video form.
Facts.
Also get your merch, phiapparel.co, code underground for 10% off any and all orders. And this has been another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Dylan, for Christian, I'm KB. We're gonna get back on the pitch, go kick some footballs, and hopefully not time slip. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. For all the Cowabunga boys and girls out there,